Welcome to That's the Word, wholesome tales for the whole family. I'm Father James Yamauchi. Today's story, The Stop Sign Traffic Stop. Jesse watched as the new sheriff's car escorted the fancy vehicle behind it into town. The driver of the fancy vehicle was rather upset and made his displeasure quite apparent. From him, Jesse gathered that the sheriff had pulled the driver over for running a stop sign. The driver made it clear, though, that he was going to complain to the justice of the peace. What intrigued Jesse more than the drama, though, was the sheriff. It wasn't just the fantastic way that he handled himself with this very rough customer. The sheriff did not get rattled up at all. He kept his cool and made sure to emphasize that the law was followed in those parts. No, it was actually something far more personal. Jesse knew the new sheriff. They met about a decade ago. Jesse had done the sheriff's physical when he had been drafted into the army. They became friends, but in the intervening years, their paths had separated and they had fallen out of touch. Jesse had no idea that his friend had gotten into law enforcement. Watching the two men go into the courthouse, though, got Jesse thinking. His current position was being eliminated, so he was on the hunt for a new job. Perhaps his old friend needed some help. He was interested in law enforcement, and he would not mind an opportunity to work again with this man. The next day, Jesse gave the sheriff a call. The sheriff was delighted to hear from Jesse after so many years, and the two spent some time catching up. Eventually, Jesse got around to complimenting the sheriff's performance on duty, how good of a job he was doing as sheriff. The sheriff thanked Jesse. "All in a day's work," he said. Then Jesse asked, "Don't you need a deputy?" The sheriff thought that was a mighty fine idea. Shortly after that, Jesse was deputized and joined the sheriff in patrolling the small town and keeping the peace. Though the sheriff and Jesse had their disagreements, they remained friends through it all. The public loved this new deputy, not just the public of the small town on a studio lot, but also the public across the country who fell in love with the new sheriff, his deputy, and their hometown. Of course, none of this was real. The Army physical examination where the sheriff and Jesse had met was a scene from the movie No Time for Sergeants. The loudmouth driver arrested for running a stop sign was the actor Danny Thomas on an episode of his television show. The studio lot that served as the duo's hometown was over 2,000 miles away from its supposed location in North Carolina. What was real, though, was the friendship the sheriff and deputy shared on and off the camera. For 5 years, this intrepid duo protected the streets of Mayberry, all because of a call from Jesse Donald Knotts that led him to play Deputy Barney Fife on the hit television sitcom, The Andy Griffith Show. And for this week, that's the word.
We don't have anything to add to this story. We both love The Andy Griffith Show, especially Sheriff Barney. I keep calling him Sheriff Barney Fife.
Well, he got promoted.
It's Deputy Barney Fife. But we do have a bit extra to share with you on our website under the story extras. So if you go to our website, sonsofthunderrock.com, and go to story extras or click the links in the show notes, then you'll get to see the episode of television where Sheriff Andy Taylor pulls over Danny Thomas and that episode is the one that Barney Fife or Don Knotts saw on television that led to him becoming Deputy Barney Fife. And if you enjoy That's the Word, please share the word. You can sign up for our weekly newsletter at sonsofthunderrock.com. That's also where you can find our social links and our email if you want to send us feedback or story ideas. And you can also find there the story extras to find out more about the stories that we tell.
Thanks for listening, and join us next Wednesday for another wholesome tale for the whole family.